Sweet mother, sweet mother.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. It's Jillian here, and it is week 19 of my sugar-free year. This week I attempted to make chocolate chip cookies, and while they don't look great, they are passable in taste. I was really in the mood to bake this week, and I know that I can do my banana bread, but it's actually a very quick process that a banana bread. It's very mush up some bananas and put some flour in there and you're done. So I really wanted to do a little bit more than that, and so I thought, let's make some really easy. I had all of the ingredients. I just had to get some chocolate chips for some chocolate chip cookies, and I don't know, y'all. So here's my cookie. Do you see this texture? They just don't fan out as a cookie does. None of the chocolate chips melted. They're fine. They taste fine. I have to really bite into the chocolate chips. They work. I just don't know what's up with that sugar. Anybody else actually using Swerve to actually eat cookies, please? What am I doing? Is that just what it's supposed to be? Because the pictures on the internet, on the Google recipe that I searched for, they looked like real cookies. So, nevertheless, they've worked, but they weren't quite what I was hoping they'd be. At the very least, my boyfriend tasted them and he wasn't repulsed, so, that's something. So since it's Mother's Day tomorrow, I thought I would talk about the mother of all sweet things. The thing I associate most with my mother, because it's something that I associate with her mother, and it has been in my life ever since I can remember. It is my granny's 16-layer homemade chocolate cake. Take it all in. Oh yeah. This was the cake I yearned for as a child. We would go to my granny's house for Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, and that cake was always front and center at everything. For me, it was like, okay, give me cake and let's open presents. I was a fun child for sure. Once my granny passed away, we all had to figure out who's gonna make this cake for everyone. And after a while, the person that was tasked / honored to be the cake maker was me. So for many years, with the help from my mother, I made the cake for every Christmas and every Thanksgiving with my mother's family. We spent many years figuring out the logistics and working out kinks and how to make this cake not be like a tremendous, terrifying task, because I was never around for when my granny made it. I never saw her do it, so I never really knew what I was getting myself into. For the first half of the time, we had an electric hand mixer, and let me tell you, that cramps up your hand a lot. It definitely got easier once we got a KitchenAid stand mixer. Whew, did it get easier. Even things from, how can we make, a bunch of layers at one time and save on time? How do we get these layers of cake out of the pans without ripping them all? We just several years of wasting layers because we didn't think that through. I'll give you one hint, only one, because you're not gonna get this recipe from me. Parchment paper. Cut out parchment paper and put it in the bottom of your pans, and those things come right out, and you just peel off the parchment paper. And you know what? You may be saying to yourself, duh. But from years age 12 to 15, we didn't know that, okay? So, whatever. Even in the recipe, it says half butter or margarine. And we spend every year, my mother and I, going over what we think that meant and what we did the year before. Because we just don't know. Half cup, half a stick, we don't know. So things like that, working out the kinks, and probably we change it every year anyway. Who knows? Here's me and the cake. Killing it. I even got so machine-like after making this cake that like after enough time, it wasn't like just a 16-layer cake. It was like an 18-layer cake, or it became a 20-layer cake, a 22-layer cake. And I think the biggest I got this cake was a good 28 layers. Suffice it to say, I don't have a lot of family heirlooms, but this cake has definitely become like the crown jewel of my mother's family. And so it is a really cool thing that I can pass that on in my way and continue serving up some good granny's cake. So this Christmas, which is obviously about a week left of my sugar-free year, is going to be a tough one. Since I'll be probably, flying in a couple days before Christmas and only getting to stay for a couple days after, and what my mom has been doing the last few years is making the cake herself, it takes a little bit of pressure off me not standing around all of this sugar and just, icing. It'll be nice to not have to be tempted with the bowl, but, and she does a good job. I like to think that, she'll never top my 28 layers. Mom, don't even. But, I have to hand it to her. She makes a good cake. I just pride myself on being the best. So even if it tastes the exact same, I will never admit it. Happy Mother's Day. So yeah, this is going to be like the biggest, scariest, meanest temptation of my life. And, I even thought about making a sugar-free version of it somehow. But, after the cookies that I made yesterday, it's not looking good. It's not looking like it's going to work out. Overall, this is one of those reasons why I grew up loving sugar. It was something that, was always at my granny's house when we had our Christmas. It was like what I waited for every year. It just brought everyone joy. Everyone loved this cake. When I started making it, I was like praised by my family. Like everyone was so happy to have this cake again. And it's just good. It's just a good cake. After my granny was gone, it was a way for me to honor her and to keep, this thing that she loved to do around and to give to everyone. Even like my little cousins who, weren't alive when she was around, like they love this cake and they're like me when I was a kid and they wait for this cake. They don't want to eat dinner, they want the cake and then they want to open presents. At the end of the day, I know that when my sugar-free year is complete, I will welcome this cake with open arms back into my life. Maybe I won't lick the bowl anymore after, I'm the one sitting in the kitchen and it's like a giant bowl of batter. Maybe I'll let that one slide. Maybe I won't be so stingy when I cut other people's slices so as to save more for me to take home. Yes, I do that. I'm admitting it. But nevertheless, I'm gonna have myself a piece of that cake again. And it is going to be glorious. And hopefully, again, someday soon, I will have enough time off and my mom and I can make it together again and we can finally figure out if it was a half stick of butter or a half a cup. Which one is it? That's my week and that's my fun little walk down memory lane. With that, I say Happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there, and I will see you all next week.